This is my Plants vs. Zombies World Plants tier list. I had a longer version where I'm actually making my tier list, but it can't upload on YouTube for some reason, so I'm just gonna make this one, which is probably shorter. First is Split Pea. He's just a pea shooter that costs 25 more sun, and you barely use his backside, so there's no point in using him. Sunbean. He's super hard to get sun from him because he has to get eaten and you have to damage the zombies and you barely get more sun out of it. Next is Hot Potato. He recharges for way too long, which makes him super unreliable. Next is Gold Leaf. He creates a sun tile, and honestly, I don't think it's worth the 80 sun, and I think 80 sun is really awkward. Next is Intensive Carrot. He can revive a plant, but most of the plants that you would want to revive are usually protected, so you never really use him with a lot of value. Next is Garlic. He can change zombies to other lanes if they bite him, but there are a lot of zombies who can destroy Garlic without eating him, so it's very risky. Next is Fat Beat. He does the very close range attacks and it doesn't do that much damage. Next is Citron, and he takes a long time to attack. And he does a lot of damage, but most of the time he'll just hit a normal zombie. Next is Spring Bean. Most people would put him in F tier, but he's super good in Pirate Seas. Next is Split Pea. I meant Peapod. He's fun, but he costs a lot of sun, mostly if you want to get him to 5. Next is Guacodile. He's just pea shooter, but a tiny bit better, I'd say. And he doesn't do that much damage. Next is AKEE. He gets outclassed by Boomerang, and for some reason I just don't feel like any of his attacks do any damage for some reason. Next is Perfume Shroom. He can hypnotize dinosaurs, but he takes way too long. I'd rather just deal with the dinosaurs. Next is Coconut Cannon. He costs way too much. I'd rather just use a plant that can attack by itself. Next is Gravebuster. He can destroy graves, but attacking plants will just destroy the graves over time. Next is Pepperpult. He does not do enough damage for how long he takes, and most of the time you'd be kind of forced to use him because there's no other plant that can unfreeze other plants unless you have Fire Pea Shooter. Next is Cabbage Pult and Pea Shooter. They're just the basic attackers, but get outclassed pretty fast. Next is Nightshade. I don't really like using him. None of his attacks feel like they do any damage, and he's not really good as a main attacker. Next is Chili Bean. He's pretty good at the start when you just want a zombie to eat him and get destroyed. But there's still not much use because a lot of zombies can also just destroy him without eating him. Next is Tall Nut. Honestly, I don't really like Tall Nut because I'd rather just use Walnut. I feel like he costs too much, and there's not much difference between Tall Nut and Walnut other than him having more HP, but all I really need is a good wall and that's it. Next is Magnet Shroom. He's so hard to get used out of because he can attract bucket heads buckets, but it's kind of hard to do that and they get eaten pretty easily. Next is a Magnifying Glass. He's pretty cool, but he uses a lot of sun to attack, and it's kind of hard to get a reliable source of damage from him. Next is Bowling Bulb. He's pretty fun to play, but the only thing is that when there are constantly zombies in front of him, the only bowling bulb that will respawn is the weakest one, the teal one. So after he's planted, you just get a super weak attacker. Next is Free Peter. He's super fun, but really not reliable. If you plant a lot of them, the side lanes, like the top and bottom ones, don't get much help, so it's a big unbalance, I'd say. Well, if you plant them on the side, on the bottom, they will also only be able to attack in 2 lanes, and that's unsatisfying. Next is Tangle Kelp. He can one-shot a zombie in water, pretty useful, I guess, but still not that useful. Next is Sporeshroom. I like when he destroys a lot of zombies, and now you have a full board full of Sporeshroom. But when you destroy a zombie, I feel like they're usually gonna be in the front of the line, so all the spore shrooms that you just spawned will probably just get eaten. Next is Endurian. He's pretty cool. He's a good alternative to Walnut, but he has lower health than Walnut, and even though he damages the zombies, I'd rather just have an attacker behind him damage them. Next is Spikeweed and Spike Rock. They're both pretty good, but if a zombie passes by them, they can't do any more damage. Next is EM Peach. He's really good with dealing mechs, like on dealing with mechs, but he has no other use, so I put him here. Next is Stunyan. A lot of people like him, but I'd rather just use like Iceberg Lettuce or something like that. And he costs 25 sun. I want him to be free. Next is Bloomerang. He's pretty fun, but later on nobody really uses him because he doesn't have any big use. Next is Melon Polt. He's pretty strong, but he gets outclassed by Winter Melon. Next is Repeater. He's pretty good since most of people have him at 175 sun, and he saves more space than the pea shooter. Next is Potato Mine. He's really useful for the start of the game because you can just place him at the back of the line to explode the first zombie and get all your sun producing started. Next is Walnut. He's quite reliable. Just put a wall of them in the front, so then it can protect your other plants. You don't need something with too much health like Tall Nut, but something with a decent amount of health to protect your other plants. Next is Blover. I know there are a lot of strategies with him that are pretty cool, but overall, just defeating some flying zombies isn't very useful. Next is Lily Pad. He's kind of inessential, but other than that, other than like letting plants being placed on water, he can't do anything. So I can't put him too high. Next is Banana Launcher, which is really overrated in my opinion, because 500 sun for like something that can shoot a few missiles isn't great, because I feel like he takes forever to recharge his banana and he barely does any damage. Next is Rhodabaga. He can hit in diagonal lanes, and people say that's kind of confusing, but at least it's better than Starfruit, because Starfruit I don't really know where he's going to hit exactly, but Rhodabaga I know exactly he's hitting in all the diagonals. Next is Primal Pea Shooter, also kind of overrated because he costs 175 sun, and he can push back zombies, but I feel like him pushing back zombies never happens. Next is Grimrose. He can defeat zombies with just 75 sun. I mean, that's pretty good. Okay, anyways. Next is Fume Shroom. He's also a pretty good attacker, but he doesn't have great range. And now for the A tier. Celery Stalker. Most people put him in like F or something. I don't know why. Because even though he has to wait for a zombie to go behind him to attack, and he could get countered by like Gargantuars or the roller skate, I really like him because I'm pretty sure he can kill a Buckethead for 50 sun. Next is Stalia. He's Iceberg Lettuce, but instead of freezing, he slows, and he has a 3x3 area, which is pretty good for like crowded zombies. Next is Red Stinger, which is just a repeater but better, and also I really like its design. Next is Charguard. I used to not like it, but now I do because he can like throw back zombies, but only 3 times. But still pretty good for 75 sun. Next is Bonk Choi, and he's really good. Like, even though he's close range, he does really fast damage, and put him behind a walnut, that's super good. The only problem is that like there's so many ways that he gets outclassed. But the only thing is that all the plants that outclass him are rather like cost money or they're CDMs, so if you want to be free to play, Bonk Choi is really good. Next is Infinite. He's not really good by itself, but his plant food that creates a force field is really good for stalling. Next is Tile Turnip. I don't think you'd ever use him if you're trying to survive. You only use him when you want to use a pretty cool strategy like in Arena. Like if you pair him up with our next one, Laser Beam, then you use one plant food and all the laser beams in each lane do a plant food and it's practically a whole clear, but he's super expensive. And also if you're trying to survive, you wouldn't bother putting him. Next is Puffshroom. In in PVZ1 he'd be like an S tier, but now since it's all about crowds and stuff, even though he costs 0 sun, I wouldn't use him. I would only use him for like the early game. Plus, he disappears over time, which is so annoying. Next is a Lightning Reed. He has low damage, but he's super cool, and he can hit multiple zombies, and he's good against chickens. Next is Snapdragon. He can attack in the free lanes in front of him, but at close range. And it's super cool when you make a line of them, mostly behind of walnuts. It's super satisfying to see the zombies get burnt. Next is Colonel Polt. Even though he does super low damage, I really like him because he can stall zombies. And it's super satisfying when he throws his butter. Next is Twin Sunflower. He's a pretty good sun producer, but I usually want to use Sunflower more because Sunflower most of the time produces sun faster. But he likes to save space, so that's good. Next is Iceberg Lettuce. Iceberg Lettuce is pretty good for stalling the first zombies because he costs 0 sun, but his plant food is also so overpowered, so that's even better. Next is Sunflower, just a reliable sun producer. Next is Primal Walnut. He's just a walnut, but he costs 75 sun. But he also has a super fast recharge, which is super good because if you place a lot of them, the zombies will take forever to get through your defenses. Next is this thingy. I don't know what it is, but he can poison zombies, and his plant food is also pretty good. Dustlobber, which I think is a bit overrated, can just throw these dust thingies, and when boosted by Moonflower, he can do it in 3 lanes. But it's nothing overpowered, it's just like pretty good, I guess. I've never felt like, whoa, these zombies are getting destroyed. It's just like, oh, this is a consistent attacker. And now, for the S tiers. So first is Moonflower. I don't even get why a lot of people just think he's average. They say like, Moonflower can boost shadow plants, but the problem is that you're gonna have to use Moonflower, and he's a bad sun producer. But a lot of times, I would use Moonflower even without the shadow plants, because when you get like 2 lanes of them like usual, they produce like 125 sun each. It's kind of hard to get started with them, but I think I like the design. Plus, even without boosting the shadow plants, there is still a really good sun producer. Next is Primal Potato Mine. He is super good because he only costs 50 sun, and unlike the Potato Mine, he burrows out the ground really fast, and he does a 3x3 explosion. That's like a cherry bomb. Next is Primal Sunflower. He makes 75 sun, but costs 75 sun, and most people would be like, then what's the difference between him and Sunflower? Well, if you think about it, let's say this. You plant one sunflower minus 50 sun. You plant the Primal Sunflower minus 75 sun. They both produce 1 sun. That's plus 0 sun, right? But now, when Sunflower produces another sun, it's plus 50, but for Primal Sunflower, it's plus 75. And when Sunflower produces another one, it's plus 100, but when Primal Sunflower produces another one, it's plus 150. And he keeps ramping up, and you end up with way too much sun. Next is Time Warp, which I also think is super underrated. When I used him in my playthrough, I think he was like my trump card. Because every single time I would start getting overwhelmed, I would just use Time Warp for a measly 100 sun, and all the zombies would be reset back. Next is Sunshroom. He starts out with 25 sun, and then later on he grows to produce 75 sun. He's super good, but he's kind of hard to get started with. Next is Wintermelon. He costs 500 sun, but he can freeze zombies in a 3x3 area with just one attack, which is kind of overpowered because the zombies will never get to your line that way. Next, and for our final one, is Cherry Bomb. He can destroy zombies in a 3x3 area. That sounds boring, but it's actually really useful, mostly for PvZ2 since it's all about like crowds and stuff. But he kind of gets outclassed, but he's still really good. Anyways, thank you for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe.